Come on, you're off. Music's out of here. Comments are on. We're looking at let's go a little closer. Whoa, that's a little too close. All right, here we go. What's a team? What's a goal? What's a team? Whatever I was talking about over there. What's a hobby? What's a business? Where does it all begin? Where does it all begin? Well, maybe it begins with a little bit of thought. Okay, there we go. Maybe it begins a little knowledge. Maybe that was that whole thing with the candle, right? A little bit of thought. A couple of minutes, alone time, figure it out. Then it's a matter of knowledge. Got to pick up knowledge, read a book, watch a video, listen to a TED Talk. Got to listen to a fun TED Talk. I was listening to one earlier today. Caught my attention. You know why? Because there was two people. There was two people delivering a TED Talk. That doesn't happen. It's one person. One person. One person delivers a TED Talk, not two. So I was like, hey, man, that can't really be a TED Talk. It's a TED Talk. There's a circle you got to stand in over there. Why? Because when you're delivering a TED Talk, it's not a performance. It's supposed to be information, factual information, opinionated information, perhaps motivational information, but it's about the information. Okay, no surprise there. Two people. That was a surprise. You know, they were talking about that, which was kind of funny. Nah, they weren't talking about teamwork. We'll get back to teamwork. They were talking about humor. And they did it. Oh, obviously they did it in a funny way. Otherwise, it really would have been very inconsistent. They worked as a team together. Oh, there we go. We got that word in there. That was number one for our Toastmaster friends. Word of the day is team. T-E-A-M, team. Team is when two or more people work together on something. Our team was able to build a project. There we go. Now you know how to spell it. Using a sentence and hopefully a decent definition of the whole thing. But what caught my attention was not the information, was the fact that there was two people there. It was out of the ordinary. Out of the ordinary. And I would tell you, and I will tell you, and I'm going to tell you right now, is that those two people were doing it differently. They were sharing sentences. They were discussing it for us right in front of our very eyes on that TED stage. They worked as a team. What they mentioned, though, I thought was very interesting as well, since I must have a book back here. Hey, Merry Christmas to my wife and the team. Let's see, what do we got back here? We must have something back here about, let's see, about how to think, laugh, and enjoy your way to success. And that's an interesting one. Let's see what else it is. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Here's another one. I'm going to fall off the chair. That'll be funny. It's like the only reason why we add it is when we fall off the chair. How about this one? Laugh and get rich. That's an interesting one here, too. Let's see if we can make it a third person. The third book that we've got here. A third book that has to do with that topic. It doesn't look like I... Oh, wait. Yep. We're three. Becoming a humor being. And those two women were talking about this. Kind of interesting, too, is that teamwork comes in over here. You know? Let's see. Steve wrote this book, forward by Mark Victor Hansen, co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, by the way. More on that. Hey, this is Darren LaCroix did it with Rick Siegel. Huh. Interesting. Another team in that one. Steve, did you do this one alone? No, forward by Jeffrey Gitomer. So there was always a little bit of, I don't know if assistance is really the word, but certainly support as that goes. But those two women, I'm going to get back to that team thing again. Remember, Toastmaster, folks, here's what you need to do. You need to count the word of the day. The word of the day is team. I got two. I'm sure there was more than that. I know there was more than that, but I'm not the grammarian, right? You are. You're the word of the day master. That's one of the things we do in Toastmasters. Somebody comes with the word of the day, and you have to incorporate that word of the day into your presentations, into your speeches, whether to be prepared or not. Why? Because it allows you to think and speak on your feet. It's not laughing, getting rich, but it's thinking and speaking. There's a little teamwork there too. I wonder if you could count the word or create the definition of team when it comes to two ideas that work well together. I would guess. What did those two women talk about now that I've delayed this long enough? Laughter. Laughter. Oh, and I hope to be able to incorporate this more in my daily world. Laughter. As that goes, laughter. So what they were saying is when you're a kid, you laugh and you smile and you laugh and you giggle and all the rest of that stuff like all the time. All the time. And then when you become an adult, you don't. You just don't. That's crazy. So, when he wrote this book over here about laughing and getting rich, there's validity in that one. And you don't have to get on stage and become a comic. We're not talking about that. We're talking about adding humor into your presentations. Talking about adding humor into your life. We're talking about looking at things that suck, that just don't work. Where I'll say it, fail. Who hit me in the back of the head? Oh, I know, many of you did. Usually that's what happens. Oh, yeah, I was trying this thing and I failed. What? You don't fail. It's a learning experience. Okay, it's less headaches that way too. You get learning experiences that come along with it. Hey, I wonder if that person is a team member too. The one who hit me in the back of the head. Sometimes it is. Sometimes our team members don't even know they're a team member. But they're there to guide you, to smack you in the back of the head, to keep you focused. So here was the punchline from those two ladies. One, remember, as kids, we laugh and we giggle and we have a good time and everything's funny. Somebody rubs your belly, you go, ha, ha, ha. You try rubbing somebody's belly at this point in time. Don't do it. Oh, my gosh, we got an HR issue here. Unless you're, close with that person. You try that, it's just not good. But when we get to work, when we get to start dealing with things that are more serious, we lose laughter. We lose the giggle. Or maybe we shouldn't giggle, but at least smile. Have fun with it. Wow, have fun with it. I think I get accused every once in a while. My dear wife likes to bring out that the reason why I'm doing something is for the fun of it. The answer is sometimes yes. Sometimes yes. There's always some end game in there, but yeah, you want to know something? If you're not doing what you enjoy doing, you're not going to be engaged in doing it unless you're scared of what you don't do because you've been asked to do something. That's a whole different world, and that's not fun. That's an obligation. Being on the obligation team when you don't want to be on the obligation team is just not fun. That's just not a fun place to be. At the risk of repeating myself, I will. That's just not a fun place to be. What if our efforts, our jobs, our careers, our goals, our projects, our nonprofit efforts, family life, friends, hobbies, all the rest of that stuff were things that we don't feel obligated to do, but things we desire to do. So when it comes up for that time when we fail, it happened again. Who did that? When it comes again when we have a less than desired outcome, didn't get hit on that one, right? It becomes a learning experience and a much better attitude that goes along the way. And also, we will improve from it because we're not going to get hit in the back of the head and get our noggins knocked around. But we're going to look at that as a way to learn. That's a great teammate. That is a great teammate. Someone who is there to remind you, but to remind you that everything is a learning experience, that there are different ways of growing. Some ways are very quick to learn. Pick up a book. Listen to a book. Discuss that, right? That Automobile University, which now all of his radios are little ear pods and smaller, whatever. You can carry them any place. Go for a hike. Go do that. You want to come by and rake the rest of my leaves before the wind blows them all over the neighborhood? Come on. Now's the time because it's going to get windy. But you can listen to anything at any time very easily. So there's quick ways of learning. A slow way of learning is by observing somebody else doing something. Now you're in that moment with them. Very effective for those of us that like to learn visually, not from a text and not from words without being a part of it. That's a great way to learn. That's where it comes into having a mentor. Great, that's a great teammate, having a mentor. Or the slowest process, sometimes absolutely the most effective process, is the go it alone thing. And that's when you got to be careful because then you might use that 4-letter word. Fail. There it is again. I got to get security over here for this one. But that word fail. All right, take it easy that time. All right, let's not get carried away. But don't we learn more from those things that are less than desired outcomes? Yeah, sometimes we do. I have quite a few moments along the way with that one, where it's just like kind of blew apart. I took a I took a test one time. It was one of these tests online with a video and stuff like that. Well, let's just say I was obligated to take that test because of the business I was in. And I did. I sat down, I started to listen to the video, and I fell asleep. Totally disengaged, fell asleep. Luckily, I woke up in time and they gave us plenty of time to take the test that I was able to finish the whole thing. So that was it. I'm not sure how long I fell asleep for, but whatever. That's not good. Hindsight, passing the test. Oh, yeah, it was a little bit of a laughter after that one, but not not when sharing it. But there is humor in just about everything. And some other places too, right? I told you I've gotten on a comedy stage. Getting on a comedy stage with the right audience, good. Getting on the comedy stage with a challenging audience, oh, not so good. Definitely not so good. I went to do an open mic night. The problem with the open mic night was the fact that the only people that were there for the open mic night were other comics, and they just wanted to hear themselves do their thing. And I was nervous as can be because I knew the audience were people that knew what they were doing, or at least I perceived the fact that they knew what they were doing. Here we are. It was in Rockville Center, in the basement of someplace, and it was like 5 of us. It wasn't exactly a big thing. Oh, terrible failure. Terrible failure. But they were still kind enough to say, okay, you gave a whirl at it, and that was good. So a little bit of a smile, but not much. That was a challenge, as that goes. But in hindsight, understanding that you do learn from that. What about those 2 women? God, we're 15 minutes into this, and halfway through, I didn't even give you the detail what happened. See, here's what happened. You laugh as a kid, You don't laugh as an adult, that's a shame, but I got you 3 books over here that'll tell you that you should laugh as an adult. And I could tell you something else too, is that if I have somebody on here that talks about giving effective presentations, they're going to tell you that adding humor, not jokes, adding humor into your presentation is going to make you memorable. It's going to make your point memorable. It's going to be an attention grabber. You could ask questions. I do that in the beginning here. I ask a lot of rhetorical questions. Hope gets you thinking, gets your attention. And if I ask them in words, just written out like that, it's a question. You're going to answer it. You can answer it in your own way, but hopefully get your attention. That's a good advertising thing, right? Promotional piece. What promotional piece do you listen to? One that just tells you right off the bat. They don't know who you are, but one that makes you think. That's memorable. One that makes you think. But one that makes you laugh on top of it is even better. So the comment that these 2 women made was that we don't laugh again until we're 80. 80. The sobering comment that went along with it was that the average lifespan is 78, is what they had stated. That's sad. That was no laughing matter. Definitely no laughing matter. So how do we do this? What do we do? How do we laugh along the way? Not everything is good. Gosh, there's a whole laundry list of things that we all experience that are just not good. How do we become that humor being? How do we do that? I think it all has to do with what's the end game. What's the goal? Where are we getting to? I shouldn't even say the word end game because for most of us, especially this crowd over here, what's the end game? As soon as you get there, you're like, well, if I could do this, I could do that. If I could do that, then I could do even more, and I could keep on going. Keep on going. They'd ask Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood's 91. Hang on a second. 91, he's starting a movie. I don't know how old the post was. It really doesn't make a difference. Do I say it's fake news? It's fake news. I don't really care either. And that one does make a difference. But here was the point of the whole thing. 91 years old. It's like somebody had asked me, you're getting old. How do you not get old? Said, I don't let the old man in. And he's making a movie. It's just like age is how you feel. It's a number is a number. It's just a number. Doesn't mean anything. That's a good attitude. And that might be the key to the whole thing. It's having a positive attitude, but it's got to come from someplace. And I could tell you, I could guess, Clint Eastwood, no matter how hard it is, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how detailed it is, putting those movies together and having the string of successes he's had in all kinds of different types of movies, even that funny one with the orangutan, let alone the Westerns and the Dirty Harry movies and all the rest of that stuff. I'm sure he's having a good time doing it. Has he made mistakes? My guess is, but it's only a guess. I don't know. My guess is that we've all kind of screwed up somewhere along the line. As long as nobody got hurt and you learn from the moment, it's all a part of it. It's all a part of it. But we learn in different ways. We learn by watching. We learn by reading. We learn by being mentored. We learn by doing ourselves. Speed up the whole thing. Find a support group that works with you, no matter what it might be. That's the team. How big should a team be? How important is the team? Well, I think the team is actually everything that goes along with it. Because if we're doing things ourselves and we're doing something that's wrong or a waste of time or we're veering off course, hey, it's great to do that and it's fine to do that. And that's where we learn. But if nobody ever corrects us, if nobody ever sheds some light on the fact that, you know what, that may not be a good idea. And here's something that you might want to consider. That's good. But if nobody ever shares this with you, if you have a manager that just tells you you're wrong and walks away, really? That's a bad manager. Just comes over there and criticizes you. You get your annual review and they say, oh, yeah, this is what you did wrong. This is what you did wrong. This is what you did wrong. You should fix it. And then walks away and doesn't do anything else with it, well, you want to know something? That's not good. That is not a team member. And a good manager certainly can be a great team member if they're there to assist you and let you grow, give you some advice as to how to do something a little bit better, not just tell you what's wrong. I just got done taking this. I had to do it for, I didn't do this for a nonprofit. I'm a little surprised at that one. But all this thing about inclusion, diversity, and all the rest of that stuff is good material. Right? So I no issue with the material. I actually learned some stuff in there, so I thought that was really good. But it was all the whole darn thing. The whole thing was about interacting with others, seeing the good part of others, not assuming everything or anything for that fact, allowing people to achieve their own level of success, regardless of where they're coming from or where they are or anything like that, and then giving people the tools that they need in order to achieve a greater level of success and continue to move forward, whatever it is. Somebody needs a little bit more attention on something, give it to them. Does that take up more of your time? You want to know something? Perhaps it does in the short run. Long run? No way. You now have yourself somebody who's going to be a big supporter of you. Don't you do the same thing? You remember that teacher back in junior high, high school, maybe it was college, that took that extra time with you? You stayed after class? Not because you did something bad, but because you just kind of missed that test and like didn't get it at all. But then they explained it to you, and their explanation of it or it hit home. All of a sudden, your view of that teacher was quite a bit different, I'm sure, than it was if you just got the F and called it a day, as opposed to getting that F and then getting the explanation as to why you got it. Hmm, that's a teammate. That is someone that'll there to assist you. So, how big of a team? What do we got? Got a couple minutes left over here. Hey, Mike, afternoon to you. It's gonna be a great day to take pictures of leaves flying through the air. How big does a team need to be? Well, it depends. Don't you hate that answer? It depends. Your team needs to be an effective size. That's what it really needs to be. Just needs to be an effective size. And the more you pay attention to what you need or think you need, the better it is. Now, what do I mean by that? You're good at stuff. You're also probably not good at stuff. Shh, don't tell anybody. You're not perfect. Heck, I got more imperfections than perfections, and I don't even think I got any perfections, but we're not. There's no way. There's no way we're good at everything that will come our way. First things first, for finding a teammate, finding a supporting person, is to figure out what it is that you don't do well. In one of these books, it was pretty clear on that one. It said, look, you've got 10 things that you could do. All right, all well and good. Rate them. If you're a 7 in something, right, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you're a 7 in something, can you move that 7 up to an 8, up to a 9? You probably can, because it's something you're good at. It's something you understand. It's something you might have more of an interest in being good at. But if you got a 1 or a 2 or something like that in there, and you want to move that up to a 4 or a 5, what'd you really accomplish? So you're bad at it, and then you're going to become mediocre at it. Woo! As opposed to being good at it and becoming great at it. Much better. How much time, energy, and effort are you going to go from good to great versus from poor to mediocre? Probably less time to go from good to great than the other side of it. Find the teammate. That's the person you want to find, someone who's good at what it is that you're not good at. And you go that route. Maybe you're really good at short-term goals, but that long-term stuff not happening. Maybe you're a big picture person, but that short-term stuff, it's like, oh no, let's just go right from point A to point Z. Forget all the stuff in between. Crazy. No. Nah. Decide. Look in the mirror. Write down that piece of paper. Go for your walk. Listen to the candle. Whatever it is. Read a book. Read a book. Read that book. Listen to a story. Listen to a TED Talk. And say, that makes sense, what they're talking about, and this is how it fits into what you want to do, but I just can't do that. But maybe you know somebody who can. So think about that next time you head off to a networking event, a business event, maybe even a party. Maybe next time you're at your nonprofit event. Maybe next time you're at one of the walks, a fundraising walk at your nonprofit. And you're talking to somebody and just kind of sharing what's going on and that kind of thing. And maybe they have an interest. Hey, you want to know something? You meet a person at one of the nonprofits that you're behind. One, you now have something in common, that nonprofit, the efforts of that nonprofit, without a doubt. Two, you also know that person is a giving person. That's an important factor into it also. How do you know that? Well, they're at a nonprofit event. This is not exactly rocket science here, right? And if they have some skill in there that you could use that benefits the two of you, especially if that other thing benefits that effort, that the goal that you have in mind benefits them also, or you figure out a way to do it, you just found yourself a nice solid teammate. And that's at a network. That's at a nonprofit event. Business event, you know what? That's the same thing. Just got to be a little bit more cautious because sometimes you get people in business events that are looking solely for themselves. So you got to get to know them a little bit better. So I actually like running across folks that are volunteering their time someplace because you know they have a giving heart. You know they want to give. You know they want to support something else. So you know inherently they're a good person. You don't have to go through that filtering process that much. Your team, it starts with one other person, someone who you could honestly talk to, share ideas, who can do some of the things that you're weak at doing, and someone who is there to has that same set of goals in mind, maybe for a different reason, but that same set of goals in mind. So your team begins with one person. It might even be that person that keeps smacking you in the back of the head when you say fail. I hope not. But that is an honest person, isn't it? Someone who's ready to set you straight and help you move forward. And then let the team kind of grow from there. That becomes a whole nother factor too. Is your team too big? Sometimes it might be. Sometimes it might be. You try getting three people together to decide on something. Okay. Five people, more challenging. 10 people, much more. Now all of a sudden, we're giving more directives rather than just laying it out there and getting in everybody's thought processes that come with it. So at some point in time, you got to figure out for you what it is that you want to do, and then get the resources that you need in order to make it work. But don't ever forget what those two women were talking about. You know, we laugh as kids, we don't laugh as much as adults, and then we laugh when we're 80. Yeah, let's see if we can reduce that number a little bit. Find humor in everything you do. Go get some books about that. I got a few books I'd like to suggest for you. Just ask. Just ask. Now, what's going to happen when you laugh a lot? You're going to grow. And you know what's going to happen when you grow? You're going to want to do these things. You're going to want to speak well. You're going to want to speak often. And you will live inspired. And people want to know what the heck in the world you're laughing at. And maybe you're laughing at your own success along the way. Hey, Mike, Doug, Karen, absolute pleasure. Thanks for joining us today and throughout. It's definitely a windy day out there. Weather going to get cold. Christmas is coming up this weekend. Hanukkah ends, last night of Hanukkah is Sunday night. So that brings us into Monday. So at this point in time, though, we're at fifth day in Hanukkah. You know what that means? Is that the menorah is brighter today than it was. Well, we've gone to the side where there's more brightness than darkness in that menorah. Something to be said for that one. Keep everything shining bright. Have a good time doing it. Laugh a lot. Live inspired. All right, my friends. Stay well. Yeah, better to laugh than to cry, without a doubt. I think it's less facial muscles too. All right, here we go. Let's get the music going, and we are, as they say, moving on to the next thing.